How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much for watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr., and welcome to another classic movie review. So the film that I'm talking about came out back in 1971. This film was directed by Don Siegel, and the film stars the legendary Clint Eastwood in maybe his most iconic film role as Harry Callahan, one of the all-time great police action thrillers, Dirty Harry. I am talking about the original. There are 5 of these films, but for me, the original is probably the most standout because of the plot of the movie, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I'm a big fan of the action genre. As a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s, I was always there in the theater for the latest Sylvester Stallone or Schwarzenegger or Bruce Willis movie, Van Damme, Seagal, Harrison Ford, you name it. And watching movies as I got older, I eventually got my way down to the more old school tough guys and saw more movies from people like Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson, Steve McQueen, and of course, Clint Eastwood. And this film came out and was produced during the time when a very similar thing was happening in terms of the plot of the film, which involves a serial killer that goes by the name Scorpio. And it's very eerily similar to the real life Zodiac killer that was active during the time of this movie's pre-production and production and during the time of its release. So watching this film, at times it can be a little trippy and a little eerie, especially because a lot of the things in this movie are, pretty dark because they do mirror real life and sometimes a little too close to home for people that might have been there and experienced this horrible time in California or Bay Area history. And I read up on this case after falling down the rabbit hole, admittedly, after watching the 2007 David Fincher film Zodiac. And so I did read the 2 Robert Graysmith books and became fascinated with the case. And so I know enough about it to know the differences between the movie and the book, and of course Dirty Harry and the case. And even though there are plenty of differences, there are some things in terms of the killer's MO that are yeah, kind of creepy because it is based on, or loosely based on, a real life serial killer. But having said that, this movie is still a good time because unlike real life where we all know that killer never got caught, this is a movie, so spoilers, the bad guy, he bites it at the end, okay? So one can say that this may be a cathartic experience for those that always wanted to see the Zodiac, killer caught and, get his comeuppance. And, going into this movie that Dirty Harry's going to get the bad guy. I mean, it's Clint Eastwood. He's not going to lose. So it's not much of a spoiler, really. But this is just a classic action movie with some really cool one-liners and some good shoot-'em-ups. And some people might find this a little too right-wing for their taste, and some might even consider it a little fascist, just because he's a cop that sort of shoots first and asks questions later. Sort of like that old saying, shoot 'em all and let God sort 'em out. That's pretty much Dirty Harry right there. And considering he's a cop, he's supposed to be sort of a servant to the people, a servant to the public. But he's the kind of guy that will bend the rules or break the rules to sort of let the end sort of justify the means, pretty much. And I know that's something that in real life is not something that we, are big fans of, because, real life is a lot more horrible than, what we see in the movies. But it's just, to me, it's entertainment. It's just a movie. And it's a cop that, shoots bad guys and says cool one-liners. So that's the kind of thing that I'm always there for. And these movies, especially the, Dirty Harry character, really became sort of the template for the modern day action hero. There is a very intense sequence in the film where the main villain, who is known as the Scorpio Killer, hijacks a school bus full of children. And eerily enough, the real-life Zodiac Killer threatened to target a school bus and shoot out the tires and shoot kids as they came out of the bus. And that doesn't happen in the film, thank God. But he does hijack the bus, and as they're sort of riding under this underpass on this walkway, there is standing uh, Dirty Harry Callahan waiting for them to pass under him. And, wearing these really cool sunglasses. You can see it's really Clint as he jumps down right onto the roof of the bus. It's a really cool little stunt that he pulled off. And, you can see his face and everything. So I always enjoyed that sequence. And yeah, some pretty good shoot 'em ups. There is an iconic sequence early on in the film that involves Harry Callahan just trying to have a quick lunch, have a hot dog in a diner that is interrupted by a group of bad guys that are robbing a bank. And of course, that's where we get the iconic sequence where he shoots these guys and has one of the guys on the ground and they're going for their gun. And then he says the iconic line, "I know what you're thinking. Did he only fire 6 shots or only 5?" Something else I gotta mention is there's a really cool sequence involving the Scorpio Killer trying to have a meet and greet with Harry Callahan. And Harry Callahan has to run from payphone to payphone. And he's basically making him run through all these little obstacles and hurdles to make sure that he gets to meet him alone so that he isn't being followed by anybody, because he doesn't want any extra cops around. He just wants to sort of have this one-on-one with Harry Callahan. And the way he's running around the city from payphone to payphone kind of reminded me a little bit of that sequence in Die Hard with a Vengeance, where Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis are doing something similar to that. But there's all kinds of little things in this movie that will remind you of something that you saw in another movie, because this is one of those early films that did sort of set a template. Anyone that's a fan of action films should definitely check this movie out. It does get a little dark at times because of the subject matter, but it's Clint Eastwood, it's Dirty Harry, and highly recommend this film. I give it 3.5 stars. Everyone should check this one out, at least for Clint himself. He's always great. So thank you very much for watching this review. Please look for this movie. It's out there on streaming, and you can get yourself a hard copy like I did. This one has Dirty Harry and its sequel, Magnum Force. But yeah, Dirty Harry 1971, it's a really good time. Thank you very much for watching. Please look out for more reviews. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications on more classic movie reviews. Please comment and share, and look out for the next review. Have a good one, and God bless.